So welcome to our audience and welcome to everyone who is watching online. It's my honor to be moderating this press conference on the role of ethics and human awareness in climate change solutions. My name is Sonia Olsson. I'm coordinating the environment activities for Brahma Kumaris. Brahma Kumaris is a spiritual organization, and we are part of the faith-based community here in COP21. I have 3 guests with me today, and they will address the topic of faith and ethics. And to my left here is Sister Jenti from Brahma Kumaris, the director of Brahma Kumaris in Europe and Middle East. And next to me here is Jeb Sano, former climate change negotiator from the Philippines, chief climate change negotiator. And to the far right here is Golo Pils. He's the advisor on renewable energy to the Brahma Kumaris. So today we'll talk about the shift in awareness is needed to promote the changes in behavior and lifestyle to create a climate resilient development. And faith-based communities are building momentum to address the strengthening of political and personal will to fulfill the responsibilities of our time. And we can see that very clearly here in COP21, that the voice of the interfaith community is building momentum. So first I'll ask Golo Pils to address the topic. Golo has played a key role since 1993 in establishing the Brahma Kumaris as one of the major users of renewable energies in India. And he's presently building a huge standalone solar energy plant in India, in our spiritual headquarters in Mount Abu, and it's a cooperation between the Indian and German Ministry of Environment. So, Golo Pils, what's your message today?
Yes, Sonia, thanks very much. We're all aware of climate change and its drastic consequences for the near future. And it's also understood by the majority of people that we have to act now. This weekend, we had so many leaders, political leaders here at the COP, and we hope a strong impulse is given for cleaning up our atmosphere. However, we have to see what is the final agreement, and we have to see also what are the mechanisms and if this is really going to work. The Brahma Kumaris is a spiritual organization with headquarters in India, and we operate 6,000 meditation centers in India and 1,000 overseas. We preliminarily teach Raja Yoga and meditation. However, we also aim to inspire people to infuse ethics and values into their life. We also promote a vegetarian lifestyle, and you might have heard that if humanity would collectively switch to a vegetarian or even a vegan lifestyle, climate problematic would be a story of yesterday. So we all try to inspire you to adopt a vegetarian lifestyle. It's very helpful. But it's also of a paramount importance in order to reverse the effects of climate change that we bring ethics and values back into the political decision-making process. Only then we can move in the right direction. However, it's our understanding that any fundamental change has to be started in our awareness and in our consciousness. Because first comes our consciousness, our awareness, and then comes our action. And we suffer, as we all know, from wrong actions over a long period of time. So we recommend for everybody that we should walk our talk. In order so to do, people need to be strengthened and empowered to take the right decision and change their lifestyle. Here we see yoga or meditation as a very powerful tool for such a self-transformation. In addition, to give a practical example, the Brahma Kumaris and its daughter organization, the World Renewal Spiritual Trust, have engaged since the last 20 years very intensively in the research and the development of renewable energy systems. It was a very attractive opportunity and idea for us to combine our spiritual lifestyle with renewable energies. Since the mid-90s, the Brahma Kumaris became one of the key developers in solar institutional cooking and solar photovoltaic systems. We have carried out a lot of research and development projects with the Indian and the German government and received in 2011 the status as a research organization. At present, we operate 6 large steam cooking systems in India, and we produce steam for various process applications like cooking, food laundry, sterilization, and water pasteurization. Our biggest solar cooker can cook 35,000 meals for our visitors who come to our ashram, and that's quite an achievement because it's clean energy. It's a very practical application, what can be done. In addition, the World Renewable Spiritual Trust has installed and operates 350 photovoltaic power plants, and we have a total capacity of 1.2 megawatt. We have more than 6,000 centers in India, and we introduced a green policy for all our centers and slowly introduced to them photovoltaic systems, solar hot water systems, and solar steam cooking systems in order they become a practical example, a fusion of spirituality and technology. At present, we are setting up a 1 megawatt solar thermal power station. This is a research and demonstration project sponsored by the German government, the Ministry of Environment, and the Indian Ministry for Renewable Energies. And this project takes part in Rajasthan and features 770 dishes. And the speciality of the plant is that we have thermal storage. You all know that the storage of renewable energy is one of the key problems in transformation towards clean power. So we are working here to develop a cost-effective solution. We expect to go fully operational by March, April, September 2016. And more information you can see here on the screen. There you can see also a picture of the plant which is coming up in Mount Abu. You can see our web pages where you get more information. We also conduct training on such technology and have regular workshops and seminars which is funded under UNDP and GEF training program. It is our strong belief that spirituality and technology shall join hands, and that the fusion, and only the fusion of both, will drive us towards a better future. You are most welcome to join us in our efforts. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Golo, for also sharing with the practical applications that can happen with a shift in awareness. And now Jeb Sano, I think most of you know Jeb. We remember him from Warsaw. He's the former chief climate negotiator from the Philippines, and we were there in Warsaw with you when the extreme weather events happened and you started the fasting for the climate. Today, Jeb is part of the he's a spiritual ambassador for our voices. And he started the People's Pilgrimage, and he's just completed his walk from Rome to Paris. So, Jeb, what would you like to share with us?
Thank you very much, Sonia, and I greet everyone with greetings of peace and love as we gather here today. But let me start by reflecting on the present moment. I see a lot of empty chairs in the press conference room, while just a few minutes ago, this room was packed when we were talking about science. The science has been very clear for many years. But as one of my favorite novelists has written before, science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. That's Isaac Asimov, actually. Now, what is becoming also clear right now is that the moral argument regarding the climate crisis is starting to be felt and starting to be understood by many people around the world. And it is really such a moral problem that we face. Climate change is not merely an economic, political, or environmental issue. We should recognize it as the moral crisis that it really is. And why is it a moral crisis? The climate change problem is a is manifested as a symptom of a system where 10% of the richest in every country, I'm not talking about 10% of the richest countries, 10% of the richest in every country is responsible for 50% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere. And the 10% poorest in every country, the 10% poorest in every country no, I was saying 10% of the richest in every country is responsible for half of this problem. And that leads us to reflect that this can only be averted if we look into our hearts and find the solution in our everyday lives. And that is where faith communities and faith leaders come in and weigh in on this issue. We have been walking on our pilgrimage not just from Rome to Paris, for thousands of kilometers already. We have been walking on every continent. Not just myself, but many people around the world have embarked on these spiritual journeys to carry a message of hope, but also a message of urgency. And this message of urgency about the climate crisis is one that must resonate across the whole world in every community. I think I'd like to share as well that in this journey, Paris should not be our ultimate destination. While many people have come to Paris and all roads have been leading to Paris in the past few days, Paris should not give us the illusion that this journey would end here. Because as a human family, we must all continue to walk together and build a world that is safe, peaceful, harmonious, and sustainable. This is what this is where the role of ethics and human mindfulness comes in when we talk about the climate crisis. There's obviously a problem in the atmosphere with so much greenhouse gases being poured into it. But we must also reflect in our hearts. There is where the bigger problem lies. The other important matter that I'd like to stress is that in this whole journey, and I'm very honored to be on this panel right now because Brahma Kumari has been also very supportive of the pilgrimages, in fact, organizing pilgrimages on their own as well in their respective communities. This has been a truly interfaith effort, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of solidarity across faiths, solidarity across boundaries, and solidarity across generations, because solidarity is not an alternative for all of us. It's not some obscure option. It is the only way. That is our only fighting chance to stand together and build a world where we hold hands and walk forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that walking can create hope in our lives. And the problems lies in our heart, but maybe hope also lies there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So last speaker is Sister Jenti. She is the director of our Brahma Kumari Center in Europe and Middle East, the main representative to our UN in Geneva. Actually, Sister Jenti was part of the preparatory meetings for the Earth Charter back in '92. And now she's been heading our climate change delegation every year since Copenhagen in 2009. And she's part of the team making Brahma Kumaris a more sustainable community. So, Sister Jenti, we are talking about ethics and human awareness. So are there any specific methods with which ethics can actually become part of our lives in reality?
Thank you very much, Sonia. And I want to say that Mr. Golopils and Mr. Yebsano have actually shared a very comprehensive picture of what spirituality can offer the world. And in particular, I want to refer to Yeb saying that it's a moral crisis that we're going through. And it's been interesting because Monday afternoon, there was an interfaith gathering, and within that, the Secretary General of WCC, the World Council of Churches, made an interesting comment. He said that today we saw the politicians have become preachers. And what he meant by that was that they were all talking about values and morals and ethics without using those words maybe, but definitely mentioning how it needs a change of attitude, it needs a change of awareness, it needs a change of consciousness. This was the theme song that was running through. And the question then comes, how? And what's happened to us in our very materialistic, consumer, busy lifestyle is that we've forgotten to look inside. All our attention is focused on acquisitions and positions and whatever it is we can do outside, and we've disconnected with the being that's within. And as a result of this disconnect, we've lost touch with the qualities that lie within. And so if you think about justice, fairness, generosity, compassion, the things that would come up within the principles of a good human being or a good human lifestyle and ethics related to all that, then we find that because we're not connected with ourselves, we've also lost contact with these qualities. And yet, the intrinsic nature of the human spirit is of goodness. And so there is compassion within every human being. There is love. There is a desire for honesty and truth and transparency. But we don't give ourselves the time and space to turn inwards and be able to draw the resources that we carry within ourselves. Another aspect of all of this is that sometimes we wonder, well, what can I do in terms of making a difference? But in fact, any change that's happened in the world has only ever happened because a small group of committed individuals have felt passionate about bringing about positive change. And in that way, then, an idea that starts very small but reaches a minority that's vocal and powerful then can become a majority idea. I see that Paris has been a possibility of that. Ideas that we were talking about in Copenhagen that were really, at that moment, a lone voice in the wilderness. Today we're hearing leaders talk about these things. So these ideas have been growing and the majority are now beginning to accept these things. So individuals have been making a difference, but I'd like to suggest something else. Every time when I go out shopping, every time when it's time to go somewhere, if I take a moment and ask myself, what would be the ethical choice that I have here? And if each one of us, even the handful of people here in this room, if we were to ask ourselves this question and with that inner power, make the decisions that would take us in the right direction, I think that the accumulative effect of that would be huge. We were hearing about 10% and the 50% of the emissions. Well, the other way is also true. If even 10% of the people around here were to start making decisions that are based on morals and ethics, and we know what they are, we know what would be the best for humanity, but sometimes our limited consciousness prevents us from doing that. But if we were to actually take that time, then I think we would start moving things in the right direction. The last thing I want to share is that when I'm in touch with my ethics and start following them in my life, I have hope. There's a vision I have for the future, that there can be a future which is going to be a better world for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also sharing a message of hope and how to make ethical decisions. I'd like to open the floor to questions. And let's see if anyone here in the audience have any questions you'd like to ask. Yes, please. I actually don't know about the mics. You have a mic here. Thank you. How many like to ask questions? 2 people. Yeah, take the first one. Yeah.
Sarah Shannon from Our Voices. I just wanted to really do a shout out to what Gojo's done in India. I think it's outstanding that you're able to feed 30,000 people using solar. And we've heard this year a lot from the different religions, particularly their statements. But this is a great example of a religious community using technical solutions. And I would love to see more examples. And I think it's great leadership. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much. Indeed, we're since 20 years in the research and development, and the whole institution has very wholeheartedly embraced the research, and Brahma Kumaris is administrated by women. Our current leader is Dadi Janki. She's 99 years old. She's actually 100 years old. She always has supported this idea and the usage of renewable energies. And it's a very nice harmony to be a spiritual person and live in harmony with nature also. And it's a great example. We get a lot of visitors, and we have inspired other communities in India as well as many scientific institutions also to go into that direction. It's a good thing. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Next question. Yeah, Mike is there.
Thank you. I'm Vanya Walkley from Standard Publications in Malta. I want to ask Yeb about his march from Rome to Paris, where I believe that you were received by local groups, churches, and so on. Did you find a high level of awareness amongst the people you met of climate change, or not very much? And in particular, did you get the feeling that the local churches were actually conveying the message?
Thank you, Vanya. What we realized on this journey is that climate change, while a lot of people are already talking about it, and the churches that have supported us through the pilgrimage, well, it is a new kind of work for many of these communities. And they have been very engaged in other more local environmental issues, but climate change is starting to get in there. But many of them have been talking about the Pope's encyclical, which is very encouraging, because one of my worries was that the encyclical would not be disseminated as quickly as it should be up to the grassroots. And in our whole journey over 1,500 kilometers from Rome to Paris, we saw that it was reaching the grassroots up to the parishes, and that is truly, truly promising. But I'd like to also mention how we realized that in this whole journey, without meaning to undermine also the experiences of Europeans with respect to climate impacts, there's a big disconnect between how climate change is experienced in temperate regions and in tropical regions where I come from. In my country, climate change has a very profound impact, even a matter of life and death. Here, it seems that climate change means milder winters, or mostly removing a few layers of clothes during the colder part of the year. And our message that we have carried through this journey has resonated with the people we've met. So that's also something that encourages us. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all of you. I would like to finish with a moment of reflection with Sister Jenti. So thank you also to everyone who's listening online. We have a side event and with the same topic on Saturday here in COP21, 11:30, in Observer Room number 8. If anyone is interested, it's 1.5 hours, and we have a few more speakers. And you can see that online. And Sister Jenti Ngolo will also be there. And Jeb Sano, you can Google Our Voices, and you will find the contact details for him. And if you want to contact Brahma Kumaris, you have the website on that side there. So let's finish with a moment of reflection.
I'd like to invite you to follow these ideas, if you would, and see where it leads you. I go on an inner journey, and as I turn inwards, I find that space within myself where I am truly alone with the eternal being that I am. And in this awareness, I connect with truth. I connect with peace and love. And as I connect with the inner being, it is as if I step into the unlimited, and I'm able to connect with my human family. I'm able to connect with all forms of life and with all the elements of nature. I am part of this amazing tapestry of life, and I resolve to stay connected to myself and to every part of this beautiful tapestry. And as I come back to the physical dimension, I wish this to inform the choices that I make each moment. Thank you.
So, thank you to our panelists especially for coming and taking time. Thank you to all of you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be included.
We do it again, maybe.